Hello everyone, and thank you for clicking on another one of my videos. I am Screen Scene Guru, and tonight I'm going to be discussing my thoughts on Lord of the Rings, The War for the Rohirrim. I recently watched this movie with my family for my birthday, and I had a really great time watching it. So without further ado, I just want to discuss a bit of information on it. I do have a accurate Middle Earth map that I just want to show off real quick to give an example of where the storyline is taking place. We can see right down here in this corner, we've got Rohan. I just wanted to give that a bit of an example, show off for the fans. A Middle Earth map supposed to be drawn by Bilbo Baggins. So really interesting stuff there for those of you that are big fans of Tolkien and Middle Earth, Lord of the Rings. This story follows as history becomes legend 183 years before the original film trilogy. King Helm Hammerhand of Rohan defends his people from Wolf, a vengeful Dunlending lord, forced into a last stand at the stronghold the Humberg, later known as Helm's Deep. Helm's daughter Hera leads the resistance against an enemy determined to destroy them. So I thought this was a really fascinating story, guys. Released in December of 2024. It unfortunately didn't make all that much money because not a lot of people went out to go see it theatrically. It did get a digital release on HBO Max and got a little bit more people to check it out, but unfortunately it fizzled out and kind of became a forgot about film. I recently picked this movie up a couple months ago in one of my physical media hauls. You guys can go back through my catalog and check out when I picked this up, but I recently watched it for the first time, and I've got to say it's probably one of my favorite Tolkien stories now, out of Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth. Has a lot of heart to it, heartbreak, if you will. A lot of defending of households, fighting off people that would, want to use and take from the weak. So I thought that was very interesting, Game of Thrones style. We basically start off the story of Rohan being led by a peaceful ruler, Helm Hammerhand, voiced by Brian Cox, so really infamous voice actor. We see Hera, voiced by Gaia Weiss, which is going into her background. That's Emma Thompson's daughter, really blowing up right now. Of course, going into the Lord of the Rings universe as Hera. We see her free-spirited. She's one of the fastest horse riders there is. We also see that the encroaching lands of Dunlending wants to join houses with Rohan to make each other stronger. Of course, this is a play on Wolf's father trying to usurp Helm Hammerhand's power because he is getting older. So we see a bit of a dynamic there. Of course, Wolf tries to woo Hera, saying that they were childhood friends at one point and she would grow to love him. But of course, she admits to him she wishes to marry no man, which I think is honorable, her sharing her true feelings to him. But of course, he kind of blows up on her after his father is killed in hand-to-hand combat. I thought one of the gripes I had on the story was that they didn't really explain when Helm Hammerhand got one of the rings of power. He, of course, was supposed to be one of the 12 of men, I believe, or is it 9 of men? I believe, 9 of men that get rings of power and are corrupted, so he becomes a ring wraith. And they discuss that in the movie, but they also give him a farewell ending where they don't really discuss him becoming a wraith. So I thought that was fascinating. They do explain kind of some of his superhuman aspects and strengths. But most of the story is just shot in Rohan. We do get to see a bit of Isengard, which is cool to see. The Lowmen being gathered to raid and sack the big great house, the Hall of Rohan. We get to see foreigners arriving with elephants, so that's really cool to see. A little bit of squid action in the swamp. So for those of you that have read Tolkien, he likes to add his sea monsters. So just basically gave us everything we wanted out of a Lord of the Rings tale. I know a lot of people gave it gripe over the animation style. A lot of people didn't like the fact that it didn't have anything to do with the cohesive storyline, but I thought this was one of its strengths. Like I said, it had a lot of heartbreak with Hera losing 2 brothers in this fight over her house and land. Her eventually finding the strength from her shield maiden friends to carry on and win the day for her people, so they weren't, enslaved and persecuted, and she didn't have to marry someone she didn't love. So this is kind of a woman boss story that a lot of people kind of gave gripe to, but I thought this was a really cool, inspiring tale of heroism. Someone that perhaps time forgot, even in the Lord of the Rings universe, that I thought was fascinating for them to go into. So going into a bit of the cast, we've got, like I said, Gaia Weiss as Hera, gorgeous, stunning. We've also got Christopher Lee returning as Saruman the White, right at the end, doing one line of dialogue, but hey, he shows up. I'm not mad about it. We've also got Miranda Orto as she plays Edwin, the Lady Shield Maiden that helps Hera. I thought that was fantastic to see her reprise her role in Lord of the Rings, because she, of course, played the niece to King Theoden in the original trilogy, in Twin Towers and Return of the King. So that was really cool. She had a storyline in there where she wanted to be a woman fighter, that they wouldn't let her, and she had to dress up as a man in Return of the King. She ended up defeating Saruman. But like I said earlier, Brian Cox as Helm Hammerhand was fantastic. The character Wolf, I thought, was kind of not very intimidating. He kind of had his own reasons for doing what he did, just because she didn't love him, and his father died, so he gathered up all the lowmen of Isengard and all the people that ran out of basically everywhere else, and he gathered them up to go to war. So I thought that was interesting. We've also got, it says, Dominic Monaghan, who played Merry, I believe Merry and Pippin. He did music for the soundtrack, which was really cool. Billy Boyd was in it. Not exactly sure what they played in it, but they're saying Merry and Pippin were both in the War for the Rohirrim. I think they both did music for it, so that's really cool. Let's see, trying to find anything on the brothers. Benjamin Wainwright, I think that's his name, Wainwright. He played one of the brothers. Okay. And then, let me see. I've got the Lord of the Rings cast pulled up right now. War for the Rohirrim cast. But they don't really tell. Benjamin. But there was a lot of good performances in the movie. And I liked the way it had an open-ended ending, in the way that it could be the finale, or it could be just the beginning of something new. The way it didn't make all that much money makes it seem like they won't do a sequel to it, but the fact that Hera was last seen on her way to Gandalf makes me think, oh, and this Middle Earth Enterprises that they're doing, maybe we'll get some more projects out of Warner Brothers, New Line Cinema, even though supposedly this story was only done because they wanted to keep the rights. We know we are getting a Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power Season 3 is coming from Amazon, and we're supposedly getting a 2-part Hunt for Gollum film directed by Andy Serkis and produced by Peter Jackson, so we're looking forward to those. But that'll do it for my review for War for the Rohirrim. What did you guys think on the video? What do you guys think about the movie itself? Do you guys like the movie? Have you guys seen it yet? Leave your likes on the video in the like button. Comment down below. Share the video if you want. You can subscribe to my show to get future content, and make sure you are hooked up on the Instagram and Threads for weekly updates. Till next time, guys. I'll catch you next time. Alrighty. Bye.